Thank you, Rabbi Homnick, for making time to share the Torah with us as we come to the conclusion of the year of this man, and it's a big covet. I don't like taking extra time because Rabbi Homnick needs all of it. We have a big zchus to have him in the Kehillah and to hear his Torah. That's frequently enough, but Baruch Hashem, enough often. And again, thank you for your time and to being mechazik and sharing the Torah with us. The end of the year of this man, and Yishakach.
So let's learn a little Parshas Maseh. Even in Matis Maseh, it ends up being a little bit of a stepchild, and it very often gets overlooked. So in the Peldik Gemara in Brachas of Tesem Aleph, the Gemara says like this. The whole Gemara is a very interesting Gemara because it gives you, it starts going into Yetzias Mitzrayim, and it gives you two parallel machlokes about Yetzias Mitzrayim. One is between Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah and Rabbi Akiva about eating by chatzos and that, and the other one is between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua. And the original Messiah Sasas, Rabbi Yeshua Boyaz, he points out that the first brisa is from the Mechilta and the second brisa is from the Sifri. A little bit of an unusual Gemara to do that, to bring a Mechilta brisa on an Indian, then the Sifri brisa. In the only other place where aware that there's a Gemara like that is in Sanhedrin by Genevis Nefoshes. But it's unusual structure to do that. Go through the Mechilta and then go through the Sifri. Granted, there aren't that many parshas that appear in both Shmos and Devarim, so you have the Mechilta and the Sifri Twingzach, but still, it's unusual. Okay. So we notice who are the Bali Machlokes here. In the Mechilta, it's Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah and Rabbi Akiva. And in the Sifri, it's Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua. Now, one thing we notice about these four names is that there are four of the five names in the Haggadah. Maisa, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Tarfon. So in the Haggadah, these are the five names, and then sure enough, so this is about the sugya because it's in brachas and it's about psachim. So it always means the Chazal made a decision not to put it in psachim. They put it in brachas. The halacha l'maisa, whenever there's a machlokes between a sugya b'mkaima and a sugya shalai b'mkaima, we pass like the sugya b'mkaima. So there is a mahalach of the Chazal to put certain shittas that we don't pass like to give it a sugya, but in the shalai b'mkaima place. But here it's very interesting. Yetzias Mitzrayim, Big Zach, Ahol Maseches Psachim, and they put this into brachas. Okay, but in this sugya we find four of the five players from the Maisa and Bnei Brak. So some of you may know I have a sefer on the Haggadah, but it came out the first time 25 years ago, and then a second Madur came out 20 years ago. So in the 20 years in between, there's a little bit of new material. So that is Hashem, I'm hoping the Siyat Dishmaya to put out the Madura Tzusah for this year. And then one of my yesodis that I talk about is that the chap of Maisa of these five Tanoim, and that you learn from them to be is because these five Tanoim have Yisodis about the Gedorim of Yetzias Mitzrayim and the Leil HaSeder. So that in other words, it's really these five Tanoim here who each have a different Havana and what's Leila Seder, and they came together, and each one is saying their sheet, they're working and talking and learning the whole night, and that's the tier of the Phil Kolana Chacham Kolana Levina. So I'm not going to tell you all the Mahalchim on that. But, so again, this Gemara mentions 4 out of 5, so let me tell you quickly about the fifth one. The fifth one is Rabbi Tarfon. And I think it is pretty before what the Machlokes is. The Mishnah in Aviv Psachim. It says over there that Rabbi Tarfon holds that when you finish the Magid of the Seder, so you have a little ending there, thanking Hashem for the Nisim, and no bracha. Okay, Rabbi Kiva says no. You eat a chasima, came with Mayadim, Magal Machemim, and eventually we go back to we'll have a gula, and then v'naychel shaman of sachem and azvachim, and then you make a bracha. So what's the long machlokes? It's a very powerful machlokes about how we handle Yetzias Mitzrayim every year, Leila Pesach. How do we see it? So Tarfon's Mahalach says, listen, we don't know anything about the future. We're chayv in HaKaras HaTov from the Gula, and every year is a new Mechayev because new things happen. Some of us forget that. But we're not saying the same bracha that the Chassam Sefer said. Because the Chassam Sefer made a nice bracha on the Haggadah, but he didn't know that part of the Yetzias Mitzrayim was that there's going to be a Chavetz Chaim. We know that already. So our bracha is a richer bracha. We have more schorah. So every year you have a new year, and that adds to the Havana and the HaKaras HaTov, which is Mitzrayim. And we speak out, like we were redeemed, but everything we did this year now adds to the last 3,000 years. But Reb Tarfon said, that's it. That's the mitzvah, we're finished. Yetzias Mitzrayim is part of the Bris Ben Absarim, and the Bris Ben Absarim goes all the way to the Gula Hatzida, because besides for the Acher King Yeshu B'chuz Gadol, but the Chazal Daisen it's also Eimach HaShecha Gedolah and my fellows, that Eimach is Babel, and HaShecha is Madai, and Gedolah is Yavon, my fellows is Rami, and so the Bris Ben Absarim really is mark of all the 4 Gulas, of which we're already Zocher the 3, but we have that last one that we're all being Mitzvah for Yeshua. But the point is that Zok Rabbi Akiva, if you're going to see Yetzias Mitzrayim in context, you can't only look at the past to the present, you have to look at the future also. Because the bigger context is that it's part of a Homa house that doesn't end until the Gula Asida. So merely you say Ken Hashem Elokeinu, and you talk about V'naychel Shaman Azvachim and Avsachim. So that's a very big Yesodistic Machlokes between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Tarfon. And already you can see a little bit what I'm trying to tiny here with this Mishnah of the 5 Tanaim, that the big differences in the Havana of what we're doing on the Leila Pesach. Rabbi Tarfon has 3,300 years at this point covered. But then we stop. But Rabbi Akiva says no. Goes all the way to the end. We didn't see the end yet. We'll see it Pekar, but it's in the Cheshbon. And it actually has a chasima, the bracha is built on that tier. Just like in Yetz Amaris, you say Ar Chodesh Al Tzin Torah, and you make a chasima. So this has a similar type of chasima. That there's going to be a future, and the Bris Ben Absarim, the whole picture, will be completed. Okay. That's what type. Who's not in this Gemara. But we're in the Gemara of the other 4. But in this Gemara it says a Dova Pella Ad Moed, and which is probably why your Rebbe didn't teach you this Gemara in 5th grade and 6th grade. He's afraid you're going to come, the class is going to come rushing his desk, and go like, what is this? This is not what our Haggadah Pesach sounds like. But the sheet of this suga, and again, as I said, it's in brachas, not in psachim. But it seems like it's different than the way we understand and we know in our Haggadah. So listen to what he says. And again, the post comparison Maaseh is a key pasuk. What does it say? Amar Bab. Hakom Mayim Sheniglu Yisrael Mitzrayim LeNiglu Al Be'erev. Everyone's moida that when we got out of Mitzrayim, the Gula was when? At night. How come they moida that? Oh, I thought that's what it says in Parshas Boy. No, forget Parshas Boy. So Nema Tziach Hashem Lekech Mi Mitzrayim Loyal. The pasuk in Parshas Re'eh. So first of all, even the Lila part, the pasuk is not in Boy. The whole story that happened in Boy, it's not clear enough for us to even say this much. Repel. Okay, that's what it says. So it's pasuk in Parshas Re'eh, Mitzrayim Loyal. He says, and Uksiyatsu, and the also moida, that when did they leave? Lo Yatsu El Biyoim. The Yitzhia was Biyoim. Really? Everyone's minded that? How do they know that? Shenema, because whoever was still awake by the time they got to the second pasuk of Matas Maseh, so that it says over there, Mimachos HaPesach Yatsu Bnei Yisrael B'Yad Ram. So the whole pasuk that everyone's minded that the main Yitzias Mitzrayim was not at night. It was by day. That's the pasuk in Parshas Maseh. The only problem is when you're sitting at the Seder table, if somebody's going to tell you, yeah, everyone's mighty, Yitzias Mitzrayim is by day. It's so out of tune with the whole Seder experience, because you're all talking about Yitzias Mitzrayim, and like this is the anniversary of it and everything. And it turns out, no, everyone's mighty, but it's no. It says Hotziacha. It says Hotziacha. Yeah, Hotziacha doesn't mean Yotzu. Hotziacha means Nigo. So we make a lamdas achilik here that even though on the Eibush the verb says Hotziacha, Hashem took you out. Yeah, but that's called the Gula, not really out. The actual Yitzias Mitzrayim is when? Sheyotzu or Yotzu El B'Yom. In the morning, of which there's no memorial on Chag Pesach at all of that morning. You do not do any memorializing activity at all whatsoever. Unless you say Christmas al Shachas, maybe it does state in the Maaseh. All right. So, Rashi, that what's happened that night and what happened by day? So Rashi says a Hagdor. He says, at night was Nechbezu Lemaher L'Shalcham. At night, what we're calling the Geula is that Hashem created a matzav where the Mitzrayim were felt under great pressure to get rid of these people. Nechbezu Lemaher L'Shalcham. They didn't want any part of us. Adois. How did we respond to that? I'm not going anywhere. I'm busy. Remember, according to one man Dama, they were still eating Kerem Pesach till the morning. One man Dama holds it was till Chatzos. The other man Dama holds, I'm busy, I gotta eat Kerem Pesach. They ain't stuck up. No, get out, Pare! We don't need you here anymore. But I'm ready, Ches. You know, you know better than to disturb a Jew while he's eating. What's the matter with you? Okay. So he says, Zok Rashi, Lo shamu lahem lotzis out of Baker. They didn't listen. Parish right, not Zalish right. But that's what Menachem Begin said when they told him that Carter said, "Don't say in the speech that you're not going to go up any part of Jerusalem." So he said, "Hat gesagt." So so that's what the Yidden said. Pari said, "You got to leave." Hat gesagt. We're eating. And they left in the morning. Okay, they peled the Suga, but that's the Maskana of the Suga. Which means, and what's the Raya? The Raya is the Pasuk of the Parsha. This idea that it says in our Parsha, okay. So I want to say you said on this. We ask a few horrors in our Parsha. We deserve more time than we have. That, interestingly enough, you learn our Parsha, El Masik, and there's 49 Matzayas, the whole Cheshbon, but several of them are before Kriyas Yamsuf. 6 or 7 of them that are before Kriyas Yamsuf. Okay, so Taka says they left the morning of Tesvav. We're counting from Tesvav. And we're giving you Masois. And it's one uninterrupted chain of Masois for the 40 years. But then, you would at least, they stop a few times to tell you Aaron passed away. But every once in a while they stop, tell you something happened, a bigger thing. So, in this eingefallen to stop for Kriyas Yamsuf, Philly point. The closest that it comes to saying there was the Kriyas Yamsuf says, but Yishim Pnei Achiros, but Yavru B'Ser Chayam Hamid Bora. If you medayik B'Ser Chayam, there was a Kriyas Yamsuf. But B'Ser Chayam could also mean, he took ships over. You could also say it went B'Ser Chayam. It's certainly not dramatizing it, calling attention to it in any way. Doesn't sound like any kind of mess happened here that's worthy of note in the context of the Masois. I'm giving you all the Masois. Nicht eingefallen to tell you, by the way, Kriyas Yamsuf was Pilat Palaim and Mitzrayim drowned. Not Nagay. Even though at the beginning it was Nagay to tell you, Mitzrayim Mekabrim, the Mitzrayim were burying the Becharim. So we were focusing on Mitzrayim and their losses and this and that. Why not mention that the rest of the people didn't even get a kfur? They ended up in the bottom of the ocean. Nish Nagay. So what is the agenda here? If you have an agenda of telling about Masois that doesn't include virtually any focus on Kriyas Yamsuf, it has to be Magda. What are we trying to communicate? So I want to say these words, for which we have exactly 180 seconds. That the chat is like this. That really, the truth is, going to Eretz Yisrael has nothing to do with the Yetzias Mitzrayim. Hashem made a bris mitzrayim with Abraham Avinu and said, I'm giving you Eretz Yisrael. Abraham is sitting in Eretz Yisrael. And not when he told him in her costume, but Abraham was sat in Eretz Yisrael, Yaakov sat there, Shvatim sat there. So, but he told him, in order to get the real kinyan, the long-term kinyan, you're going to have to first go back out and come back. Okay, but the pshat is, when we go into Eretz Yisrael, that's not a dinner Yetzias Mitzrayim. We're going to Eretz Yisrael because we're going to Eretz Yisrael. Because we're the Baalim of Eretz Yisrael, we have Abtacha. This was the Tanai. Rashi says Esav had a chance. They told him, if you want to do the Tanai, you could join. He said, it's all right. And so once we're done with Mitzrayim, we're going to Eretz Yisrael. And that's really the chab of this parsha. The chab of this parsha is that this parsha has nothing to do with Yetzias Mitzrayim. Even though we're learning the time when they left, L'shamar lahem lotzas ha'abayka. They didn't listen. They were finished with Mitzrayim is finished from last night, all over. They have no power over us. And they wanted us to leave. Who are you to tell me when to leave? I'm a free man. When I'm at Chayim, right? So you can't tell me when to leave. When I'm going to ready, that's when I'm going to leave. In the morning, they said, now we're going to leave. So that's Sheyotzu or Yotzu Adaboika is not a din in Yetzias Mitzrayim that we're celebrating on Pesach, because that was the Hatziyam Laila. That Yitzhak. We're calling it a Gula, and this is a Yitzhak, but Pshat is, it's also called in the Pasuk Hatziyah, because Pshat is the Hatzah, that piece of Yetzias Mitzrayim of the Hatzah, that I don't have Shibudim to Parah anymore, now I'm back on Avraham Avinu's clock. The Parah clock ended at midnight. The clock the next morning is Avraham Avinu's clock, which is, okay, now we're going to Eretz Yisrael. Now is the Kiyum of the Bris. We're going to our Yerusha. Going to our Yerusha. So the Pshat is, so the Chiddush is, once that started, even though Kriyas Yamsuf was an important Zach, but whatever it had a Cheshbon still with Mitzrayim, we're not even going to talk about it. Now, Nageya, our Sugya. Our Sugya is starting the path back to Eretz Yisrael and the steps that we took along that road. Das is unser Sugya. So that piece you don't even have. We're going to get distracted, Kriyas Yamsuf. It's a nice Kriyas Yamsuf. And you should say it every day in Pesukah de Zimra, it's murder. But it's not this sugya. This sugya is going back to Eretz Yisrael. And could even be, to add a little connective of it, that when Hashem said to Moshe, Dabra b'nei Yisrael v'Yisrael, and there's a whole tzir of Nachshon and Aminadav, he's walking in. Where do you ever see such a thing, you're walking in? In the whole Torah, there's all kinds of things that happen. You don't walk in. I mean, maybe Chaim, Vishal, and Isaiah were stuck, and they were allowed to be most in effort. And even then, Rashi said they didn't know they could be saved. But the pshat is, but a new thing, you're walking in? What are you walking in? Torah says he told him, V'yisho. V'yisho is the signal in the process, Maseh. V'yisho means it's time to go up to the seer. Up to the seer, and it doesn't matter what's over there. It's Mishnah Geya, what's in front of you, you see episodes. It's again to go. Not Geya. V'yisho. Kara is finished already, just under the Maisa. That's more or less in the past. There's a little mop-up that's going to happen later here with the Kriyas Yamsuf. Mishnah Geya. But the Ika is, V'yisho. Now we're holding by the next sugar already. And we fought now to Israel. They should help us taka. We should be shomer to Israel. And we should get all the aliyahs in the 3 weeks of Avelis to be Zeicha, the taka. We should come to the Simcha of the Gula of Perib Yamin.